In her 2008 run for Supreme Court Justice, Diane Hathaway vowed to be different.
Diane Hathaway. She knows we must restore fairness and honor to the Michigan Supreme Court.
But did she break that promise on her way to unloading this underwater home? She had a short sale. That's when a homeowner convinces the bank to sell their home at a loss rather than go into a foreclosure. It can save them hundreds of thousands of dollars in mortgage payments. But prior to Hathaway's short sale, she shuffled 2 homes out of her name. This Florida home went to her stepdaughter, and this one in Grosse Pointe Park, it went to her stepson. After the bank agreed to the short sale on Hathaway's Lake St. Clair home, that Florida home went back into Hathaway's name. And then there's the home where Hathaway's living now. It was just recently put into her name, but its first owner was Hathaway's stepdaughter. According to records, she bought it for almost $200,000 cash around the same time Hathaway's bank was mulling over her short sale. But that same stepdaughter already has a mortgage for more than $166,000 on this home in Grosse Pointe Woods. So who came up with the cash for the new home? Hathaway won't say, and it's not clear, but the home was put in her name after the short sale.
I taught real estate law.
And whether she crossed a line or not, she should know where it is. As Hathaway told this audience on the 2008 campaign trail, she taught real estate law to other brokers before becoming a judge. And state records show she still has an active real estate broker's license. Hathaway's been a judge for 20 years now, but she knows what it's like to be sued. In 2004, a civil suit filed by Tim and Carrie Moore accused her of fraud. The Moores bought this property in Grosse Pointe Park from Hathaway. They said she never mentioned already selling a piece of it to a neighbor. The Moores only learned of the sale years later when that neighbor started building this fence on the property. Hathaway filed a countersuit blaming the title company, and the parties ultimately settled out of court. The Moores wouldn't talk to us on camera, but said Hathaway cut them a check. Speaking of her paycheck, short sales aren't typically given to people who've netted big raises, but she has. Hathaway went from making about $140,000 as a Wayne County judge in 2008 to more than $164,000 when she was elected to the Supreme Court bench. So could Hathaway's bank have not looked very closely at all of her finances? Yes, says former federal prosecutor Peter Henning, who spent years pursuing bank fraud for the Department of Justice.
Sometimes a bank will be sloppy, or on some individual transactions. They won't dig down too deep simply because they don't have the time.
Without answers from Hathaway, Henning says it's hard to know if she crossed any legal lines. He said anyone providing false financial information to a bank could face potential charges, but
those are very much dependent upon what was said to the bank, what was the level of the bank's understanding, and was any information withheld from the bank.
Hathaway's colleague, Chief Justice Robert Young, urged her to start explaining her property shuffle after we broke the story earlier this month. In a statement, he asked her to respond publicly to what we reported. Instead, she referred reporters to high-profile criminal defense attorney Steve Fishman. But Steve Fishman wasn't talking either, so we had to come here to the state Supreme Court in Lansing to give Hathaway one more opportunity to explain her property shuffle.
Justice Hathaway, may we have a word? The Chief Justice has asked you to explain these transactions. Do you plan to do that?
But there were no answers then either. Instead, Hathaway ducked out a back door, escaping the questions for another day. The FBI, Attorney General's Office, and Judicial Tenure Commission would not confirm whether they're investigating Hathaway's property shuffle. Hathaway's attorney, Steve Fishman, has said publicly that she broke no laws and did nothing wrong. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
All right, thank you, Ross.